Hi, I'm Dave Young from CryptoCoin.news with ICO interviews. This week we have the great pleasure being joined from Italy by Andrea from Multiversum.io. Let me let you do the introduction of what is Multiversum, what's the whole project about?
Hi, well, thank you for your warm welcome. First of all, we are not only Italian, we are spread in almost many countries in Europe. We are in Hungary, we are in UK, we are in Spain, in Germany. So it's not an Italian project, it's an international project. Multiversum is a technology, first of all. It's a new technology that brings a real relational blockchain, a relational database in blockchain. That's a very important thing because actually almost all the database structure in blockchain is just very simple. Essentially can be a document database with all data just put inside like in a blog, and so it's very difficult to use a formal language to make queries, and we can use a SQL-like language that is very familiar to people working in an industry. So in this way, we can just make the cost of developing applications for blockchain go really down. And we also want to achieve this point, giving drivers and layer of integration with frameworks like Spring Boot and Spring Framework or .NET in order to make things easy and makes the blockchain enter in the real industry, enter in the offices, enter in the e-government with minimal effort. So we are making things to let the industry, the real people, the real office, the real business enter in this sector. This is the first thing. This is the technology. And upon this technology, we are going to develop an infrastructure, a distributed, decentralized ledger. What is it? It is an infrastructure that allows third-party application to connect and use our infrastructure without have the duty to build one by themselves. So I don't use competitor, but our example in the market are, for example, Ethereum. It offers the same thing, but is an older concept. It's older because it's slower, because it has not such evolved data structure that we can offer. So we can be faster because we offer parallel processing, we can offer horizontal scalability of our system, and we can offer a data model that is formally more evolved because our data can be indexed, our data can be sharded, so distributed and not present on the whole net, but only on a region of a cluster that is optimized, that is considered to be safe and resilient, to attach, to crash, and to guarantee high availability of data.
Wow, that's absolutely excellent. Andrea, how did the idea and the team from Multiversum get born? How did you come about?
Yeah, well, the idea was born just because all the colleagues with whom I speak say, oh, well, that blockchain is a very cool stuff, but is closed in a ghetto. So it's a closed in a ghetto of easy investment. I buy Bitcoin or Ethereum now and I sell it in 2 weeks and I can take 20%, but has not industrial meaning. An application made on Ethereum can be only very easy. They can have a quite easy model and use the ledger for external confirmation, but not really for having a database like in financial is need, like in e-government. And I was exposed to blockchain in 2 times. One was in 2010, and I was probably the most stupid guy in the world because one colleague of me offered 5,000 Bitcoin for 1,000 euro. And they said, oh, well, good idea, but I'm investing in our thing in that moment. And so I have lost the biggest possibility of my life at that time. The second time in which I was exposed when I was working with Alexander Borodich of Universa in an e-government project. And they wanted to realize an anagraphic system on blockchain. And I saw the problem because at the time I was working for Ministry of Internal Affairs of Hungary. And I was able to see the complexity behind an e-government framework and e-government infrastructure. We have from 1 to 200 of different systems interconnecting, and every system has dozens of different entities connected. So blockchain absolutely was not able to represent and to work with that kind of complexity. And I started to think how to achieve that. And I found a very good solution. We have a pilot that works really well, that realizes all the rules we have found to realize a relational database in blockchain with states and with immutable records that we have to keep, but we also have relationship, and we don't want to update all the hash in cascade in case we update one date. So we made a very good proof of concept and very good pilot, and it is working.
And obviously there's arguments for both. I mean, we see Ripple being very centralized. We see Ethereum being quite decentralized. You've, by the look of it, as I understand, taken a more centralized approach. What were the factors that came into play, and what advantages, what made you decide to go down that certain route?
Well, actually, Multiversum as technology, not as infrastructure, is centralization agnostic. So it is not important for us whether what we realize with Multiversum is centralized or decentralized. We can afford both scenarios. In fact, we have many partners looking for us, and someone who wants a centralized cluster, someone wants a decentralized cluster, someone wants a hybrid solution. Our infrastructure is decentralized. Why it isn't decentralized? Because it's, first of all, a market requirement. In this moment, if I propose to a market a centralized solution, people wouldn't really appreciate, independently from what I think. The second motive is that there is only one big advantage I recognize absolutely in decentralized structure, that they don't need an entity, legal entity, physical entity that manage it. So in every time I can say Multiversum crypto system, that is our firm, will close because we have reached our targets and goals, and the infrastructure go forward alone without having to depend on us. So we can really have a different future from our ideas. So we are not even jailed on it when we finished. And this is good for the market, it's good for investors because it gives...
Oh, it's very good to have a balanced approach, I would agree. Now, the MTV token uses a proof of integrity model I was reading. Now, that quite interested me. Could you explain to our viewers what is the proof of integrity model? How does it work?
Yes, well, proof of integrity is a new concept that would want to substitute the proof of work and proof of stake in the anti-majority hijack mechanism. We believe that using Linux and virtual container security, we can achieve the fact to make impossible for someone running our node to substitute the code inside the node. So he won't have access with root or any credential, and is only allowed to run the image in his virtual machine. Besides, we have a lot of mechanisms to prevent falsification, to prevent attack, to prevent hacking, and last of all, we have a mechanism to dynamically check what's in the memory, in the heap of the Java virtual machine that run that server. And in that case, long story made short, we will give with every transaction a challenge word, a challenge string, and it will be recalculated, the hash of it, with the hash of the memory.
Okay, and after the ICO, are you guys aiming to get public on the exchanges? If so, when do you think your coin might be listed on the larger exchanges?
Well, as I said, as Multiversum, we are not officially dealing with that, but I suppose we will support other groups of people that will manage that, because we believe that if we create a strong economy around coins, technical things can be managed better. So we are also giving attention to that, but not internally in the Multiversum, just as a sub-project.
Okay, Andrea, that was very nice. I would like to ask you a general question on the market, because I'd really like to know, somebody on the inside, your opinion. What factor or factors do you think that could come into play in this year, in 2019, that could derail the ICO train?
No, I think that there will be very big changes. So people are getting smarter and more conscious of what they have to invest in. So many ICO will die, won't even start, because people require more, require really plan, require really better ideas. First, this is the first new in the market. The second one happened during the World Economical Forum. So that was, we were present with Michele Orzan at that meeting in which they were decide the future of blockchain. So, international organizations are very important for defining the rules and the target and the directions of laws, national laws and initiative. And in that meeting it was decided that blockchain is here to stay, and we are, as Multiversum, here to stay. And after that decision, if you notice it, after that meeting, if you notice it, a lot of national rules changed. The sake of United States become much more soft and say they're not going to combat against Bitcoin. They're not going to combat against cryptocurrencies or blockchains. They are just going to regulate. And that regulation is one very important thing. As you know, we are in Belarus as office and legal headquarters, because Belarus is the only country at the moment that really gives a perfect, complete legal definition of blockchain, of ICO. And this is important because in our countries there is a legal uncertainty for which we are in risk, investors are in risk, because it depends on the judge, on what he compare the blockchain. Is a cryptocurrency a security or a utility? Is a stock? No one knows what is. Depend on what the judge in Italy or in Spain, in Germany, what the judge think it is. And investor and firms want a safe legal environment.
Okay, so we see an optimistic outlook. We see a need for regulation. In other words, people flocking to the places where good self-regulation happens, and therefore, hopefully, we'll see a good growth in ICOs.
Yes,
would you agree?
2000.
Okay, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure. I wish you the greatest luck with your ICO. I hope you have a success and a great launch. Thank you very much for your time today with us, Andrea.
Your interest and your time.
I'm Dave Young from CryptoCoin.news. This was ICO Interviews. A massive thanks to Andrea from Multiversum.io. Stay current, stay valid, stay tuned. Till next time.